We sit down for burgers, steaks, or pulled pork platters, trusting the sizzle and the grill smell to tell the truth. Menus boast hand-pressed, fresh, never frozen, and slow-smoked for 12 hours. Plates arrive fast, juices pooling under neat crosshatch marks, and the first bite feels like honest protein. But behind 6 well-known dining rooms, shortcuts hide. Beef patties pre-treated with carbon monoxide to stay pink, chicken bathed in phosphate brine that locks in water instead of flavor, ribs pre-cooked in distant factories and finished under a sugar glaze that masks 4 days of travel. There's more hiding under every char line. The meat looks generous. The story is thinner than the sauce. If you care what really hits the grill, stay with me and subscribe for more straight talk food truths every week. Number 1, Subway. The counter is bright, the glass sneeze guards spotless, and colorful bins of toppings stretch from olives to banana peppers. Customers watch their sandwich glide down the line and believe transparency equals freshness. Yet the turkey, ham, and steak strips resting in stainless pans have been on a long journey long before that 6-inch roll meets your tray. Subway's oven-roasted turkey doesn't arrive as a bird. It comes as vacuum-sealed loaves of reformed dark and light meat held together with carrageenan and sodium phosphate. Those binders let the factory pump extra brine into the loaf, boosting weight without adding real protein. What looks like a generous meat stack is often 30% water, salt, and stabilizer. That salt matters. 1 foot-long club can push you past half the recommended daily sodium before the chips even hit the meal deal. Time on the line creates another hidden cost. OSHA guidelines allow pre-cooked meats to sit 4 hours under 41 GF once thawed. During a lunch rush, pans warm every time a sandwich artist lifts the lid. Corporate manuals say to swap pans every 2 hours, yet periodic field audits show trays lingering well past that mark. Clock resets get penciled in by habit, not hazard analysis. Listeria thrives at refrigerator temperatures, and it only takes 1 warm spell for colonies to bloom on moisture-laden turkey or ham. Cross-handling multiplies the risk. Tongs leap from chicken to steak to veggies, without a dedicated Sani dip. The board where tuna is spread becomes the same surface where spicy Italian salami lands moments later. Employees glove up, yet those gloves touch door handles, cell phones, and then grab a fresh handful of shredded lettuce. Food-borne illness outbreaks linked to chains rarely grab headlines unless the numbers climb, but local health reports show steady warnings about inadequate cold holding and improper glove changes. Even fresh toasted doesn't rescue quality. A 500-degree flash in the conveyor oven remelts emulsified fat, carrying sodium phosphate into the bread crust where it caramelizes and leaves a faint metallic aftertaste. Guests savor gooey cheese, unaware the crunch comes from reheated brine more than bakery skill. The aroma masks how little actual meat fiber survived the processing plant. Better choices exist. If Subway is a travel day staple, ask for double vegetables, skip the ham or turkey, and add a single scoop of avocado for fat that satisfies without chemical binders. Or pick the rotisserie-style chicken, still seasoned, but minimally restructured and kept in sealed pouches until the bar goes live. A few deliberate swaps turn a sodium bomb into a meal that fuels the afternoon instead of fogging it. Number 2, Applebee's. The sizzle that floats across an Applebee's dining room is mostly stagecraft. Behind the swinging kitchen door, steaks arrive vacuum-packed from a central commissary, already sous vide to medium rare. Cooks finish them on a flat top for 60 seconds per side, just long enough to paint on grill marks with an iron branding press. That quick sear sells the look of backyard flame, even though the meat has spent days in a low-temperature water bath laced with phosphate and maltodextrin to lock in moisture. The result? A sirloin that slices like roast beef, yet delivers a sodium load higher than many deli sandwiches. Riblets follow a similar path. They're par-cooked in giant steam kettles, blasted with liquid smoke, then glazed in a sugary sauce that masks any hint of yesterday's chill. The glaze clocks nearly 40 grams of sugar per serving and contains sorbate to keep it shelf-stable during transit. Once the riblets reach the restaurant, they sit in a warming drawer at 150 DGF for up to 4 hours. Each time the drawer opens, surface sugars caramelize further, turning sticky meat into a bacterial playground if temperatures dip for even a moment during rush hour chaos. Chicken tenders sound safer, yet the fillets are injected with up to 15% water, salt, and modified food starch so they brown before drying out in the fryer. That injection also bumps calories while fooling diners into thinking a lighter white meat option carries less grease. Nuggets land in a pressure fryer designed for speed, not precision. When baskets stack during peak dinner service, oil drops below below its target, sealing in extra moisture but letting free water break down fat molecules. Off flavors show up as a faint fishy note, quickly masked with a double dunk in buffalo or honey pepper sauce. Cross-contact adds a final layer of risk. The same tongs flip steak, riblets, and shrimp in rapid succession. A wipe on a damp towel counts as clean between proteins. Allergen charts warn about shellfish contamination, yet day-to-day practice relies on servers who may be balancing 5 tables and a tablet POS screen. In-house audits flag these lapses, but retraining takes longer than a dinner rush. If an evening out lands you at Applebee's, consider ordering the sizzling fajita veggies with a single grilled chicken breast, cooked a la minute on the stovetop rather than reheated from bags. Skip the riblet combo and trade sweet barbecue sauce for a side of pico de gallo. You'll miss the dramatic skillet smoke, but your arteries and taste buds will thank you for choosing meat that hasn't spent half its life in a plastic pouch. Number 3, Chipotle Mexican Grill. Flames leap behind the counter. Drums of guajillo and cumin drift through the room, and a grill cook flips chicken while the line of stainless pans glows under heat lamps. It looks and smells like meat crafted to order, but most proteins finish cooking hours, sometimes days, before they ever hit that steamy tortilla. Chicken starts its life inside a sealed bag of citrus adobo, salt, and sodium tripolyphosphate that lets the chain pump extra moisture into each thigh. Bags rest in a walk-in cooler overnight, soaking up brine that inflates weight by nearly 10%. By morning, cooks dump the thighs onto the flat top, sear for color, then stash them in a covered hotel pan to steam the rest of the way. That pan can sit on a back shelf for 30 minutes while workers rush to prep lettuce or black beans. During that drift, internal temperatures fall from safe zones into the bacterial sweet spot, just long enough for salmonella cells to shake off their nap if the original brine didn't kill them all. Barbacoa tells a similar story. Beef shoulders braise off-site in industrial kettles, chill overnight, then ship in vacuum pouches to every store twice a week. Crew members reheat the meat in its own bag and shred it with gloved hands, listening for the corporate training cue. It should pull apart like warm fudge. The texture is luscious because fat and connective tissue melted during the first cook, but reheating drives sodium concentration higher in the reduced GUs. A single barbacoa burrito can top 1,600 milligrams of salt, more than most people realize when they think Mexican-style slow cook. Holding bins are the weak link. Company policy calls for discarding meats after 1 hour on the service line, yet regional managers push minimal waste and encourage workers to mix fresh grill batches with older portions. As new chicken tumbles atop the pile, timestamps vanish. Health department snapshots have caught pans still in service at the 2-hour mark, cores measuring 118 DGF, well below the 140 DGF safety threshold. Crosshand scoops don't help. The same gloved hand pinches shredded pork, flips tortillas, and touches the aluminum foil before folding your burrito. During the 2015 E. coli outbreak, investigators traced contamination not to raw beef, but to these bare contact points reseeding cooked meat with pathogens hiding on lettuce leaves. If Chipotle is your go-to, ask the grill cook for fresh off the plancha chicken and watch them dice it in front of you. Choose a bowl instead of a burrito so the filling cools faster, and swap barbacoa for carnitas. The pork roasts on-site each morning and contains less brine. Those small shifts keep the smoky flavor while trimming both sodium and unseen microbial roulette. Number 4. Panda Express orange chicken pops in the pan, sugary glaze snapping as cooks toss the chunks with wide metal spatulas. From the counter, it feels like true wok fire. Sizzling oil, fragrant steam, quick hands. Yet that flash show mostly reheats meat that finished cooking days earlier in an off-site facility. Every strip of dark meat begins in an industrial tumbler where soy, sugar, baking soda, and sodium tripolyphosphate velvet the fibers. The baking soda raises pH so protein unwinds and absorbs brine, swelling weight by nearly a quarter. Phosphate locks the water in place, guaranteeing tender bites even after 2 freezes and 1 fry. Those additives aren't inherently toxic, but they do drive orange chicken to nearly 900 milligrams of sodium in a single entree scoop before sauce or sides. The fry itself happens far from your local mall. Par-fried nuggets run through a continuous belt, then chill in blast freezers and ship in lined cartons. At the store, workers dunk them for 60 seconds just to brown the shell, then hold the nuggets in steam table pans with glaze pools at the bottom. Corporate policy mandates replacing pans every 2 hours. Real-world audits find batches stretching past 3 when lunchtime slows. Sugar in the glaze glaze turns tacky under the heat lamp, attaching stray crumbs that can harbor bacteria if temperatures stumble. Beijing beef travels a similar path, coated in cornstarch and flash-fried, then bagged with a packet of pre-reduced sauce so cooks only need to snip, pour, and toss. That sauce includes caramel color and potassium sorbate, legal preservatives that blunt microbial growth while the pouch rides cross-country unrefrigerated. By the time the beef hits the hotline, it has absorbed so much syrup that a single serving equals the sugar in a 12-ounce soda. Cross-handling is the unseen hazard. The same wok spatula flips raw frozen shrimp at one station and finished chicken at the next. A quick dip in lukewarm water counts as clean. Ladles move from kung pao to mixed veggies, trailing chili paste that can sit on steamed broccoli for an hour. The chain lists 8 common allergens on a wall chart, yet open pans share the same overhead sneeze guard, and cooks rely on color memory rather than labeled utensils when the rush starts. If your road trip tradition insists on Pando Express, build a plate from the griddle, not the steam table. The teriyaki chicken breast is grilled on site and sliced to order. Skip the ladle of extra glaze, and pick super greens instead of chow mein to dodge half the sodium. You'll still taste ginger and garlic, but you'll leave the phosphate bath and sugar trap behind on the serving line. 5. Buffalo Wild Wings. Saturday nights pack the bar, sports tickers loop above the taps, and servers weave through jerseys balancing baskets piled high with sauced wings. Guests trust the ritual. Cold beer, blazing sauce scale, fresh poultry fried to order. But most wings reach the fryer already older than the paper liner beneath them. Birds are broken into drums and flats at a Midwestern processing plant, injected with a phosphate salt brine that inflates weight by 14%. The brine buys juiciness after a second cook, yet leaves every 10-count order carrying as much added sodium as a large fry. Pieces ride flash freezers, then spend weeks in plastic-lined cardboard. By the time they thaw in-house, fine ice crystals have sheared muscle fibers, so frying oil rushes inside, leaving the interior spongy rather than springy. Kitchen timers move the traffic. At peak service, baskets stack inside the 350-degree vat, dropping the oil closer to 300. That cooler bath extends cook time while breading sloughs off into the pot. Sediment blackens, releasing acrolein that clings to fresh batches with a bitter aftertaste cloaked by buffalo sauce. Staff should skim debris every half hour and filter oil nightly. Surprise audits have caught filtration skipped on doubleheader game days, pushing peroxide values, an indicator of rancidity, well past industry targets. Supply dynamics compound freshness loss. Wings ship in pillow packs that purge during transit. The escaping juices pool in corrugate and, once thawed, wick back onto the surface, creating a slick that fryer heat sterilizes but never erases. That protein film accelerates acrylamide formation, giving well-done skin its amber hue while adding trace carcinogens that climb each time oil turnover lags. Sauce buckets pose another hazard. Heat lamps dry wings fast, so cooks toss them in steel bowls of warm margarine-based buffalo mix to keep sheen and heat. Those bowls sit unrefrigerated for hours. The margarine contains TBHQ, but minced garlic and dried chilies invite staph and bacillus if kitchen temps creep upward. A single ladle repurposed between mild, medium, and mango habanero spreads any bloom across the menu before the next whistle blows. Boneless wings aren't wings at all. They're chopped breast meat bound with isolated soy protein, par-fried, then frozen into uniform pucks. The airy breading soaks sauce like a sponge, doubling sodium and sugar in every bite compared with bone-in pieces, while the soy binder drives phosphate even higher. If game night loyalty keeps you coming back, order a small traditional wing basket and ask for sauce on the side. You'll sidestep half the oil degradation and let excess brine drip away before dipping. Pair with celery and water instead of seasoned fries or sugary beer. The match still feels like football, but the final score favors your arteries. Number 6, Arby's. The sign proudly claims, "We have the meats," and the drive-thru window pumps out a buttery roast beef aroma that feels impossible to fake. Inside, you watch a team member feed an entire roast into the slicer, ribbons of beef falling onto waxed paper ready for the bun. It looks like deli counter authenticity. The reality starts far earlier, in a plant where whole muscles are ground, mixed with salt, dextrose, sodium phosphate, and water, then molded inside large, heat-stable casings. The loaves cook in steam ovens until the internal gel sets, giving each cylinder its uniform pink hue and jelly-smooth bite. Those casings stay on during shipment. Restaurants thaw the roasts in walk-ins for 2 days, then heat them again for 4 hours in a countertop steamer. That double cook pushes total sodium above 100 milligrams in a classic sandwich before any horsey sauce hits the wrapper. The salt also ensures the beef keeps its blush long after genuine rare meat would gray. Carbon monoxide plays a role too. The gas reacts reacts with myoglobin during the first cook, locking in color so the slices can sit under a heat lamp without browning out. Oil used for curly fries becomes an unexpected player. When baskets crowd the vat, temperature sags and moisture from breaded chicken strips dilutes the fat. Roast beef drippings trail off knives and tongs into that same oil, where proteins break down into acrylamide precursors. Later, a customer orders a market-fresh turkey club and gets fries fried in the same stressed oil, carrying byproducts that add a bitter edge and a dose of oxidized fats the sandwich never advertised. Arby's turkey and brisket ride similar loops. Both arrive pre-smoked in vacuum pouches with potassium lactate to extend shelf life, then get rewarmed in plastic bags daily. If the rush slows, staff mix fresh slices with yesterday's leftovers to avoid waste. Corporate policy calls for a 6-hour discard window, but secret shopper audits have documented brisket holding 10 hours or more. Its once smoky bark softened into brine-soaked sponge. Cross-contact rounds out the risk. One gloved hand grabs roast beef, then resets the toaster dial for the King's Hawaiian bun, then lifts a slice of cheddar. That same glove adjusts headsets and pulls cash from the window. Sanitizer buckets sit nearby, yet lunchtime speed trumps perfect hygiene more often than training videos admit. If an Arby's stop is locked into your road routine, downsize. Order the classic roast beef junior, request it sliced fresh while you watch, add extra lettuce for bulk, and drop the processed cheese. Skip the curly fries for a side salad with vinaigrette, which bypasses the stressed fry oil entirely. You'll still taste the signature savory stack, but you'll leave the molded loaf chemistry, heat lamp fatigue, and overworked fryer behind in the rearview mirror. Number 7. Outback Steakhouse. Dim pendant lights, boomerang logos, and the promise of no rules, just right create a laid-back illusion that everything on the grill is cut to order. Diners picture a butcher in the back trimming ribeyes moments before service. The real supply chain starts 200 miles away, where primal cuts roll through an injection system that feeds each muscle a solution of salt, sodium phosphate, and papain. Phosphate locks water inside the fibers. Papain, an enzyme from papaya, softens connective tissue until even a select grade strip feels like prime. Weight increases up to 10%, and every blooming onion-sized platter ships heavier than nature intended. After a slow thaw in plastic, steaks head to a refrigerated drawer next to the grill line. They arrive pre-scored with grill mark guides, diagonal indents pressed at the factory so cooks only need to lay the meat across a scalding grate for 45 seconds, rotate, then finish in a convection oven that sits under the pass. Convection air reaches 475 DGF, but interiors never pick up smoky char, just enzyme-softened protein-sweating brine. A medium-rare sirloin hits the table with satisfying crosshatch patterns, yet most of the sear lives on the surface only. Bite deeper and juices taste faintly metallic from phosphate and iron mixing under prolonged heat. The herb butter is actually margarine whipped with maltodextrin, so it stays semi-solid at high pass-through temperatures. That blend contains 300 milligrams of sodium per tablespoon, tipping a single steak dinner over the recommended daily salt limit before sides arrive. During the rush, grill staff keep a bucket of house glaze beside the steaks, reduced beef stock mixed with caramel color. Corporate manuals advise changing brushes every 30 minutes. Mystery shopper audits recorded brushes lingering more than 2 hours on game nights. Leftovers never leave the kitchen. End-of-night steaks cool, chill, and reappear diced in next-day steak and cheese fries, pushing yesterday's phosphate marinade into a brand-new entree. Staff mark the item's 48-hour use on prep labels, but internal thermometers often read 44 DGF in reach-ins, cooling enough to meet code, warm enough for listeria to tick upward. Choosing Outback doesn't have to mean swallowing hidden brine. Ask for the center cut, which skips the injection line, and request no steak glaze. Opt for real butter on the side and split the portion. You'll still enjoy a charred edge without the enzyme mush, and the kitchen will prove that a solid cut doesn't need tricks to taste Australian bold. Number 8. KFC Colonel Sanders' portrait smiles from every red and white bucket, promising heritage and an 11-herb mystique. The nostalgia works. You picture fresh birds pressure-fried in small batches, spices guarded in a metal safe. Yet the chicken that lands in your basket is engineered for speed, not farmhouse flavor. Each bird arrives fresh, only after a brining tumble that pushes up to 12% salted water, sodium phosphate, MSG, and modified potato starch deep into the muscle. The solution protects breast meat from the violent steam inside the pressure fryer, but it dilutes protein and sets the stage for grease absorption. A drumstick listed at 140 calories can jump to 170 once trapped water flashes out and oil rushes in. Fryers share space with popcorn chicken, pot pie scraps, and potato wedges. Breadcrumb sediment sinks and carbonizes, elevating acrylamide levels. Every minute filtration is delayed. Company policy calls for fresh oil after 8 loads. During a dinner surge, managers often push 12, adding an oxidized varnish note hidden by extra salt in the shaker. Holding cabinets labeled discard after 30 minutes routinely stretch to an hour. Heat lamps parch the crust, so staff missed chicken with seasoned water before boxing family meals, re-wetting any bacteria that survived in dry crevices. Corporate audits have logged cabinet zones dipping below 135 DGF long enough for Staph aureus to bloom on skin still slick with brine. Side dishes join the shortcut parade. Gravy starts as powdered mix rich in hydrolyzed soy and caramel color. Cooks whisk in fryer drippings loaded with breakdown products from stressed oil. Mashed potatoes thaw from frozen pouches under hot tap water, then hold at room temp while the line hustles, giving C. perfringens spores room to multiply if service stalls. Even the famed original recipe coating bends the rules. Herbs and spices arrive pre-blended with anti-caking agents and titanium dioxide to keep the mix snow white. Workers sift, coat, and stack raw chicken in trays that sometimes sit 20 minutes before frying. The flour's moisture grows with each batch, creating clumps where raw juices mingle with spice, a micro playground that high fry temps may not fully penetrate when baskets crowd the vat. Keeping the bucket tradition doesn't have to mean swallowing every shortcut. Order dark meat thighs. They hold moisture without as much brine, skip gravy, and trade wedges for corn that steams separately. Drain pieces on a rack for 2 minutes at home. You'll taste seasoned crunch, not oxidized oil, and sidestep the stealth calories hidden in the nostalgia. Every grill mark tells a story, and tonight we learned it isn't always the one written on the menu. Pre-brined poultry, molded roasts, sugar-lacquered ribs, and meat that crosses an ocean of plastic before it reaches your plate, all trade speed and shelf life for integrity. None of these meals are ticking time bombs, yet each shortcut steals something. Protein swapped for water, flavor buried under salt, safety left to chance when holding bins run long. Knowing that is power. You can still enjoy a drive-through sandwich or a sports bar wing night. Just choose the items cooked fresh, skip sauces that hide fatigue, and ask for gloves changed when it matters. Spend your dollars on restaurants that crack eggs, carve whole cuts, and filter their fryers, and chains will follow the money right back to better meat. The next time you smell that irresistible char, remember what lives behind the sizzle and decide if the trade feels fair. Quiet, informed decisions are louder than any marketing jingle. Subscribe for weekly investigations that turn hidden kitchen tricks into clear, confident choices. Your plate, your rules. Make the grill work for you, not the other way around. Thanks for watching. Smarter bites start today.